The magic of Gandhi is that he defies categorization. Now, first of all, he defies categorization is a very typical word. Would one call him saint, philosopher, social reformer, or politician? Actually, he was all of these and perhaps much more than any of these. He was a deeply religious person. But which religion could one ascribe his beliefs to? He was greatly influenced by Vedanta, but was not really a traditional Vedantist. A Vedantic thought tells us the Atman or self is in each is individual is essentially one, a part of the divine or the Brahman. Okay, now this is where this is basically going astray, does not really hold a lot of meaning for this passage. This is just an example, so might as well you can actually eliminate this type of words as well. I don't like to do this while I'm reading, but then this is something that because I'm doing this for an analysis, so these are the type of sentences or words you can actually get rid of. Actually, you have to read between the lines and understand what is given to you. The traditional interpretation of this principle is an effort to disassociate oneself from the world and its machinations, so that one becomes free of Maya or the illusion of separately existing, ego bound I. So, yeah, I mean, again, explanation. Gandhi applied this principle in his unique way, extending it to strive for a better society free of all divisions. He worked for caste and communal amity. Okay. Maintained that the service of the neediest people is the worship of the Daridra Narayanan, the god in the form of the poor. Wow. His life's mission was to work for the betterment of society in affirmative actions. All right. For him, India's independence was not merely about wrangling power from the British, but about creating a more equitable society or Swaraj. Equitable society, basically, in a society in which resources are distributed equally, or let's not directly say equally, but proportionally. Okay. For those toiling and unemployed millions who do not even get a square meal a day and have to scratch along with a piece of stale roti and a pinch of salt. And these were, those were the days of such things. All right. Now the next para. Bhagavad Gita says you have the right to act, but do so without expecting the fruit of your action. Okay. From this, Gandhi drew inspiration to persevere, undaunted in his struggle, fully understanding that his may be a prolonged struggle which may or may not yield the expected result within a reasonable period of time. So basically, from Bhagavad Gita, he got this idea. And from Vedanta, he got the idea that, this ego thing should not be a problem, right? So Gandhi was taking ideas from all over the religious spectrum. Let's read the last para. I think this is the concluding para itself. Many attribute his fetish. Now this is a very interesting word, fetish. Many attribute his fetish for fasts to the Jain philosophy. Now again drawing from another form of religious this thing, which was an early influence on him. However, there was a key difference in the application of this principle by Gandhi. While a Jain concept of fasting is renunciation of action that, okay, now they should have given a highlight or something, comma something. That of Gandhi was fasting for a cause. Okay, so basically Jain people were doing the fasting for a different reason, but Gandhi, picked up the fasting from these Jain people for a different reason. Okay. In the Sermon on the Mount, another great inspiration for Gandhi, Jesus says, resist not him that is evil, but whosoever smitheth thee on thy right cheek, turn to him and him the other also. Basically, एक गाल पे मारो दूसरा निकाल दो मारने के लिए. Forgiveness is something which he may have took from this thing. The central principle of Christ was embraced by Gandhi, but he did not stop at that. He extended this principle to make non-violent opposition a potent weapon. Fighting against injustice without causing any harm or harboring any ill feeling towards the enemy came to be his guiding principle. Hence, though deeply religious, he cannot be categorized as belonging to any particular sect or creed. Like all great messiahs or masters, he rose from the practices of the day and culled the essence from each faith. बेसिकली हर रिलीजन से या हर फिलोसफी से कुछ ना कुछ अच्छी चीज़ें उन्होंने उठाया एंड यूज्ड इट beautifully and interweaving various religious tradition to create a mosaic of spirituality that was uniquely his own. We have to understand that. All right, so let's just get to the questions only. The passage primarily intends to extol disciplinary ideas. No, so they are not in any which case saying anything related to disciplinary ideas. Goes out. Recognize the great work done. Great work of what? It is just, talking about Gandhi and his maybe evolution of thoughts, his, constant changing of ideologies, but nothing related to that thing. Identify the creation and practice of an ideology. Could be, so I'll hold this one for the time being. Extend religious beliefs. Definitely not. We are not extending any particular religious beliefs. Create a feeling of curiosity. Definitely not. So the answer for this question has to be an identify the creation of practice of an ideology. Let's go to the next question. The phrase defies categorization in the passage mean. Now this is the very first line through which this passage started, right? We remember this one. Over here it is written in the very first line. The magic of Gandhi is that he defies categorization. One would call him saint, philosopher, social reformer, politician. Actually, he was all of these and perhaps much more than any of this. So basically, he could be all of these, but at the same time could be a little more than all of this. So what phrase can in this thing defies categorization in the passage mean? Challenges classification. Defies categorization means similar to challenging classifications. Well, let's hold this. Resist grouping. Grouping of what? I want to know grouping of what? Rebel labeling. No, definitely not. Rebel, we all know, somebody who likes to counter opinion, ideas. No. Disobeys groups. Nothing of disobeying is there in the passage, so goes out. Dare tagging, definitely not. So if you see resists grouping of what sort? This is the only sentence grouping that makes this statement a wrong statement, and I would choose option number 1 as my correct answer. The last paragraph of the passage succeeds mainly in. Now if you remember, if you go back to the last para, I will take you back to the last para. This last para basically from Jain philosophy to Jesus Christ, and then ultimately that Vedanta and all that also. So basically he is flinting from one idea to the other, taking the good ideas, obviously taking good sense of that. So yeah, that is the essence of the last para. So let's see, the last para of the passage succeeds mainly in laying down the political ideologies of that time. No. Bringing out the greatness of the futures of a leader. Now see, there is something written as in there is this messiah and all that written somewhere, okay, that like all great messiahs and masters, he rose from the practices. But then again, is this about bringing out the greatness of a future leader? What future leader? This was not to bring out any greatness of his. He was great, of course, but not because of this statement. So I'll hold this thing for the time being. I'll come back to it. Highlighting the evolution of Gandhian ideology. Definitely, I'll keep this as my answer only, because it is the evolution of Gandhian ideology that we have been seeing. So from Vedanta to Jain philosophy, and then ultimately taking something out from the Christians also, the Jesus Christ. Defining true religion. No, we are not defining any religion here. Delineating the philosophy of life. Philosophy of life is a very strong word. Nothing of that sort. Philosophy of life and all. So bringing out the greatness of future leader. Now, if you realize, from Vedanta to Jain fasting to Christian, you slap me on one cheek, I'll, give out the other cheek, has got nothing to do with, proving the greatness. So what, for all that, I can eliminate option 2 as well. So typically I can say that option number 3 can stand out as my answer. Now I don't want to check the answers, but just for your referral purposes, I will check it. So my option schemes are 3, 1 and 3. Okay. So let's just see if I am, I have made any mistakes. So you can see 73 the third, 3, 1 and 3. So 73, 74, 1 and 3. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you.